I've had the iPhone 5, the iPhone 7, and now the 11.
It is probably my 6th or 7th iPhone.
I've had the iPhone since it was big, like a giant big brick. So it's not my first rodeo.
I believe it's my 3rd or 4th. I started getting them sometime around like iPhone 6, 6S.
I actually started with the very first iPhone, and maybe I skipped a few along the way. You know, some of the S's.
I think I started with like the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, and then to the 11.
I think my first iPhone was the iPhone 3. So then every year, you know, I've upgraded sometimes twice. I used to sort of be on an every other year, not the S model, and then I went to the iPhone plan. So now I splurge and get a new iPhone every single year.
Is this your first iPhone?
Is this my first iPhone? No. I worked at the Apple store for a few years, and my first day on the sales floor was the launch of the original iPhone. So I'd say I'm not a novice, and I've had almost every iPhone.
I have been an Apple reporter for 20 plus years. I was at Moscone the day the iPhone was unveiled by Steve Jobs. I could see the iPhone was going to be a game changer, so I was an early iPhone user.
I have had every single model of the iPhone since iPhone 1.
So I mostly use the phone for taking photos and editing them as well.
I use my phone mostly for work stuff, you know, to and from work. I do a lot of the Apple Arcade games. They're really cool games.
I mainly use my phone for texting and email and taking photos of my children and reading books.
I have 2 young children, so I take a lot of pictures. I'm a commuter, so I'm commuting for about 2 hours a day. So I'm on Google Docs and slides and emails. I'm watching video, I'm watching Disney Plus, I'm watching the CW, I'm watching YouTube, I'm reading Apple News. I'm on Twitter constantly, Google Maps, getting around, always on Instagram as well, taking photos. It's like attached to me at all times. My wife, not happy with how much I'm on my phone, I'd say.
I use my iPhone every single day to get way too many Apple News alerts, scroll through Twitter all the time, and watch everything on Netflix. Netflix is my lifeline. I listen to it on the bus. I listen to it like other people listen to podcasts or music. Netflix.
I use my phone mostly for work, I use my phone mostly to kind of waste time. I would say Instagram and TikTok probably take up the majority of the time on my phone.
Gosh, these days, the majority of what I use my phone for is podcasts and fantasy football.
Texting, Snapchat, Instagram, social media apps, and a little bit for work.
Social media, dating apps. I check Instagram probably 5 or 6 times a day. It's sort of like the replacement for a lot of different things, right? Like I don't use my computer as much because I have this here. I don't have an alarm clock because I have this. Like it's kind of a integrated into my life, can't live without it sort of thing now.
I rarely use it for phone calls, mostly texting. I use maps a lot, like Waze and Google Maps, like directions and traffic.
I use the flashlight to get around at night sometimes. I'm not ashamed to admit that I can't see that well in the dark.
You know, I'm a millennial who worked in media, so I am on Twitter a lot, just reading articles. Fair amount of games too. I worked in games for a long time, so I always like to noodle around on stuff there. And the camera as well. That was kind of the biggest thing I was excited about for upgrading.
My favorite feature of the phone is definitely the camera. I think it's the biggest difference in terms of the jump from the iPhone 10 to the iPhone 11.
I was thinking about getting the Pro, but I don't use pictures that much, so I didn't think I needed it. There's still good camera quality even with just the regular 2 cameras.
I will say the camera's a little bit better, and I only just recently remembered that there's a wide-angle lens, so now I've been trying to use that. I don't take a lot of photos, so the differences between this and an older iPhone, I don't really see it.
The camera on the iPhone 11 Pro feels like a pro camera. I'm able to take photographs with this that are crisp and sharp, but they also feel kind of intimate.
I'm not a very good photographer, and so I feel like when you take a photo, the image quality and the way you can use the depth of field and just the faces come out better, and the lighting is better, and your like little snapshots are just like these amazing photos now.
I like the addition, obviously, of the wide-angle lens, both on the back and on the front for selfies sometimes.
So I actually sideline as a photographer as well, and I really want to take high-quality images everywhere I go. I knew that I had a trip coming up to my hometown in the Philippines, and I wanted to take a lot of really great photos. As soon as the iPhone 11 launched, I looked into it and bought it right away for this trip. The camera just allowed me to capture all the amazing lights, the great colors, and everything was crisp and clear, so I really liked it.
I have a very cute dog that I like to take pictures of, and that was honestly like one of the biggest considerations of like, well, I'll be able to take better pictures of Stu, so that will be good.
I thought that my favorite feature of the iPhone was going to be the camera, a better camera, the triple lens. It's actually just more battery power, which is, again, for a commuter, it's amazing. Last night I actually forgot to charge my phone. I didn't even realize that I didn't charge it until 11 o'clock today.
My favorite feature of the new iPhone 11 is definitely the dark mode. I have it on for everything. It really helps my eyes because I look at screens all day for work, so it's amazing to have a little bit of protection.
There's a couple little things that are nice, like it makes these intuitive suggestions for you, which I like. Like I listen to like white noise when I sleep, and occasionally I've gotten into bed and it said, do you want to put on white noise? And yes, I do.
The photo editing, to me, is fun because it's similar to like Photoshop, how you can like do the brightness and the contrast, and it's fun to like tinker in it rather than having to like go into another app to tinker with it.
Ooh, I think my favorite feature of the iPhone 11 is the full big screen. Since I only had an 8 before, I still had that like black sort of edge around it, but now I get like full picture on the full screen, so I love that.
It's kind of hard to say. Like, I have more strong feelings about what I don't like about it than what I do like about it.
Well, then let's get into that. What don't you like about your phone?
So I would say my #1 hated feature about this is Face ID. I absolutely hate Face ID. I thought Touch ID was fantastic. I didn't realize how much I liked it until it was gone.
If I'm wearing a different pair of glasses or my sunglasses or no glasses, it doesn't recognize me. But if I'm sitting like this, it recognizes me, which I don't know how to take.
It's fast. It beats Touch ID any day of the week. I don't really even think about the fact that my phone is encrypted and locked. I just pick it up and it works.
I have to say, I was very skeptical of Face ID. I wear glasses. Sometimes when I'm cold, I wear a hat. Sometimes I wear makeup, sometimes I don't wear makeup. So I'm super skeptical that it could recognize me in all my various personas, coming back from the gym, etc. And I've actually been very impressed.
I have mixed feelings. When it works, it's very nice, but it is finicky enough that sometimes I find myself like trying to get it to unlock and then swiping and entering my password anyway, such that it would have been faster just to enter my password in the first place.
I don't find that mine works very well. It depends on what sunglasses I'm wearing. In the middle of the night, I'm usually like a squinter, and so I just never recognizes my face, and I hate that.
I don't know that there's a whole lot that I don't like about the new phone. At first I thought the back of the 11 was really slippery because it's just so smooth and matte, but you get used to it after a while.
I don't think I used to use 3D Touch that much, but the fact that they took something away from me still feels like it's missing sometimes.
I wish that it had something that I know the Pixel has, which is the work mode feature. So you could turn off some apps when you're off the clock.
I find it too large. Like, I appreciate the size of the screen in terms of using it for content. I can get my hand around it, but if I want to reach the other side of the phone with my thumb, I have to pull back, so it's just kind of sitting there and feels a little more tenuous. I liked with the 5 that I could really kind of grip it comfortably and access all of the screen.
My least favorite feature is that it's big, and if I hold it in my hand, it's hard for me to like text with my thumb. I'm always afraid it's gonna like fall out in the subway tracks or something.
I will say I'm a little unimpressed by the low light camera. And I mean, I got the Pro versus the 11 regular because of the telephoto, and the telephoto is just merp.
I've had to relearn some of the interactions with this device, you know, just how to close apps, swipe up, swipe down, swipe left, swipe right, double tap, and just relearning all of that. I actually have to look up how to do some things.
I feel like Apple's always kind of a little bit slower with the tech compared to like some of the Android phones out there. I've kind of flirted with the idea of getting something else, but like I always come back to it. I'm so like into the Apple ecosystem with everything else that I own that it's just like a no-brainer to get Apple.
The only thing that I really dislike about the iPhone is Apple. Look, Apple is great, but it is a locked-in, closed-down ecosystem, and this becomes more exasperated over time. I feel really locked in, and in fact, even though I don't really want to leave, it feels pretty impossible.
There's definitely Android phones that have really cool features that I think are awesome and wish would come to the iPhone, but I don't feel like I'm missing out right now.
After 3 months, I feel like I probably should have gotten the 11, just because I didn't need to spend the extra couple of $100 for telephoto, which is like not much. And the only other thing I would say to Apple is these rounded edges, come on, no more. Let's go back to the flat edges of like the 5. It was the best phone. Flat edges, please.
After 3 months, I really like it. It's kind of nice having a phone that you're very familiar with and that you can kind of just pick up and use as if you've been using it this whole time.
Honestly, I'm surprised it's only been 3 months. I feel like this phone has just been my normal phone forever. I really appreciate how much more resilient it is. Like I said, I have no scratches on my screen yet, no scratches on the back yet, which for me is a big thing. I throw it in my soccer bag, I throw it in my purse, it's by my keys, all kinds of crap all the time.
I love my iPhone, I'm a big power user. I do feel though that every week when Apple gives me my screen time proactively, they're shaming me. I think I'm up to like, it's like 6 hours a day or something. Whenever I'm sub 5, I know that I'm probably paying attention to my family a little bit too much.
It's good. I mean, you know, I've been, like I said, I've been using iPhones for quite a while now, so it is just more iPhone.
I've been completely happy with this. I think I made the right call. The battery's life is great, can get me through a few days. I'm gonna try to keep it in really good condition so I can upgrade to the next one and probably pass this to someone else who needs it.
For now, I think that it was the right choice. Again, I'm comfortable with the software. I'm comfortable with the user interface on this, which is, you know, more than half the game in any device you use.
For me, the iPhone 11 Pro, just like every iPhone before it, is the single best iPhone I've ever owned. I feel as though I'm using something that helps me capture my family and my friends, and this is a phone that adds to my life instead of taking away from it.
I would say the overall experience has been positive, highlighting mainly the camera and the photo feature. But I mean, I hear there's other features on it as well, so I'll go discover those.
After 3 months, I love my iPhone. I'm on my phone all the time, probably a little bit of a phone addict, and it's great. Screen's big, color's good, and like most importantly, my battery feels like it never dies.
I like the 11 better than the 10. I feel like it's just a little bit more, I don't know, I have all kinds of theories about the battery life, but it's like whenever I'm ready for a new phone, it seems suddenly my battery life is terrible, and my battery life was terrible on the other one. Now it lasts me through the day, so the battery life, it's like a little more intuitive, a little sleeker, better camera. It's good. I'm not like blown away, but it's good.
The iPhone 11 Max is really, really good for what I needed it to do. It's actually what's convincing me that smartphone photography can be comparable to even my DSLR. I know that it can have a couple more features added to it, but I'm sure that'll come with the next generations too.
Okay, like what do you want from me?
Are the lights always this bright on you guys? Oh my god, this is terrible.
Okay, last one.
Oops, my volume's on.
This is the easiest thing. I don't have to plan anything. I don't have to know anything.
How's my hair? No runaways? No boogers or anything? Put that in the video.